Yeah, I think that's working. I'm using the little light on the iPhone and it's blinding me, so I'm going to wear my disgustingly blue reflective glasses. I'm having to do that to see myself in the mirror because the iPhone's obviously the I'm not looking at myself in the iPhone because I'm a consummate professional. I've decided that I'm not going to rotate the camera and use the camera in the front of the camera. Get a phone, so you get the picture. So this is an update, and anyone who is following my channel and may have wondered where the heck I've been. And I've been away. I've been busy. I've been doing stuff, and I thought I would just update you all on what I've been up to, because it's quite dramatic, really, what I've been doing. I kind of got a job, a TV program, producing and directing. Not really. There's a little bit of camera operation involved, but mainly it's just directing a sort of a PSC unit. And it was a property show for one of the stations, one of the channels here in the UK. I always do these things like you're not in the UK, and you may well be. So it's so I apologise. and so yeah, I've done a property show, and it was kind of going to take me all year to do it. So I made a decision to which pretty much followed on from the last sort of video I made. I think I made where I talked about having to go off grid for a different television show. Well, it was for Channel 4. It was a new show where I was going to be embedded crew and I was going to go off grid for a year. The thing was, this kind of like turned my life around. I went down to Harley Street to the doctors to get a medical. I was interviewed for a psychiatric test. I was interviewed by the production team. They absolutely wanted me. I was fully on board. And then right at the last sort of like weeks before we were supposed to go off to go and do the show, which was basically going to involve us going into this wilderness in Scotland and having no contact with any other humans but ourselves for 1 year. And that was no contact with production team, no contact with our families. We were going to miss Christmas. It was all going to be completely off grid for 1 year, which would mean killing animals to eat them, picking berries, changing your diet. God knows what it would be like if you didn't like the people you worked with. You probably just have to go up to them and say, we don't like each other, can we work it out? Which is like, oh, confrontation. So it was kind of like all these challenges. The biggest problem I was having, the biggest deal I was having was this idea of killing an animal to eat it. And I didn't really thought I would have problems slaughtering an animal. And that was the single biggest thing. And it started making me think about what a hypocrite I am because I eat meat. That just because I'm not actually doing the killing, I'm kind of like, let other people do that. And then we'll happily tuck into burgers and beef and all this horribleness. And we all know that animals are not treated well. So it's kind of like there's massive issues I had about my whole diet. Anyway, I got right up to the end, and then I got the call to say the channel said they wanted to put, there was going to be 4 embedded crew there. They wanted to replace me with somebody who had already done the show before. I was gutted. And personally, I think it's because there was a weight issue. Because when I went to Harley Street, I was weighed, and you know, my age maybe. But I'm pretty sure they're wondering, you know, will this guy be able to stick it out because he's a little bit overweight, or he's overweight. I don't know if they thought I was a little bit. So I have actually done a little bit of weight loss, and I've been recently putting it back on just because I've been very unhappy in the job I ended up doing. So the job I ended up doing was this property show, which was going to take me through the whole year. Now you've got to bear in mind that I've actually already in my mind been mentally prepared to leave the flat, my cats, my whole life behind to go and do this TV show. So I was already in that position in my brain, and with my flatmate Gosha, we'd already discussed that, and she was happy for it, and she was also adapting her life to think about, well, what's she going to do, because, you know, maybe we'd have to move flat. So that's what I did. I decided to continue my off-gridness, and I got rid of absolutely everything I own. I threw it away, I gave it away, I sold it. I got like 6 grand on eBay selling all my stuff. I got rid of absolutely all the stuff that I have owned for the last like 20 years. I just got rid of it. and I got rid of my furniture, my computer, all my tech, my camera equipment stuff. That's all gone into storage. My paintings, they all went into storage. So it's costing me £88 a month now to keep my stuff in a building. That's the only expense I have, apart from feeding myself and putting fuel in the car. So and then I went off to go and do the show. Now this show entailed me being on the road constantly. So I would do a week of recceing, and then I'd have the weekend off, and then I would do a week of filming. And I've been pretty much doing that for the last 20 weeks. You know, it's been a long time, and it is extremely grueling work. I have to script. I have to go on the recce and look around all the buildings that the researchers have found, and we drive around, we look at all the buildings, we choose the properties we like, and then I have to script the presenters to arrive at that building and all the little snoops that they do and all the little links that they do. I have to script all that, which I do on the Thursdays. That then gets checked out by the head office, and they fire back notes, and I incorporate their notes. And then on the Sunday, we have to meet with the contributors for the show. And then on the Monday, we start shooting it. And it's back-to-back filming, and it's formatted television. So you're doing exactly the same thing at a certain time on a Monday that you did the previous Monday, but it's different people. But essentially, it's exactly the same. And you're also employing tricks. And I found myself in that job having to hustle all the time. When I finish at 6 o'clock in the evening, I have to then spend like 2 or 3 hours updating the script with what's been filmed that day, with the content, what they said, where's the story arc going. And that was grueling in itself. So I was just getting absolutely exhausted. And so I have actually only last week handed in my notice, citing sort of family issues as being my reason, which is, you know, true. There is health issues going on in my family with my father, so you know, that's something that I want to be about to deal with. But the real reason, that is a real reason, but there's obviously, I'm not very happy doing this kind of job. I've got this property series on my CV now. I don't want to burn any bridges with production company, because they've been very bad, and they've also been very good. So the immediate people that I've been working with have been fantastic. I've had some issues around presenters, but I can talk about that another time. So here I am now. I'm in a hotel in London, and it is a Saturday night, and I'm talking to you. I'm not going down for a beer. I was going to go down to the bar for a beer, but beer's bad. So I'm going to sit here and have a cup of coffee. I've been sleeping from about 4 o'clock until about 6 o'clock. So I'm fully awake now. And I am, I'm kind of wondering how late I'm going to be up. Tomorrow I have to drive down south to the coast to go and do some more filming, which I'm not looking forward to. So I thought I would do a little update for my channel, which I've decided, now that I've handed my notice in, I'm going to start putting some more effort into. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go with the flow and see what happens. So that's pretty much my story so far. I have been, I'll tell you about some of the things I've been planning to do. There's a couple of things. Now I've got rid of all my stuff, I'm actually starting to think about getting some new stuff. But I'm thinking of getting some really good new stuff. And one of the things I've been looking into is a Martin D HD28 acoustic guitar. They're about £2,500, and it's I've just thrown away a guitar. Well, I gave it away pretty much, and a brand new guitar, which I think I hardly played. So I want to get back into music. I think I'm going to be moving up to Yorkshire. Well, I say moving. It's just me and my bag. So I'm going to go up to Yorkshire to stay with my friend, and he has said that he'll happily let me stay there until I walk into my next project, which shouldn't be too long. There's lots of work out there for me. I've also been simultaneously, while doing this, managing a multi-camera production in Portugal. So it has been super busy, and I've been sort of doing it all on the road, and it's been phones and tethering, and it's been fab. I've actually quite enjoyed it. But this new flat, that my apartment, I should say, my friend has up in Beverley in Yorkshire, is so beautiful that I couldn't resist the offer to go and stay there. So I'm going to go and do that, and he has like a little loft area where I'm going to set up my desk and get the computer out and get chatting to you guys again. And you know, doing what I normally do. Now it's interesting that some of the most popular, or the most popular video I've done is the review I did of the gadget for scraping It's so disgusting. I did a disgusting review of the Shoal foot scraper. It's like a little rotating barrel that's, a little handle with a barrel that rotates, and you can scrape all the crap off your feet. That's my most popular video. Forget all this time and effort I put into editing stuff and structuring reviews of headphones or whatever. Something that scrapes crap off your feet has been the single most popular video I've made. So I might try and do reviews of just everyday items, not tech, just everyday items, like a review of Weetabix. I might actually try and do that. A review of this pen. People have been very kind, talking about what I have been doing in my channel, and I have been thinking that there is something in it, because I tend to do very honest reviews. I like to not mess around. I'm a bit of a misanthrope by trait, so I'm quite happy to say if something's crap, I will say it's crap. I haven't even, like, I got an Apple Watch and I didn't tell anybody about it, and I've got all sorts of thoughts about that. So, I mean, let me know if you do want to hear any of this stuff. And I think I may wrap it up. I was going to give you a little tour of the room and show you do a haul, because when you decide you're going to go, off grid and just live out of a suitcase or a bag. This is the bag I bought in the States when I was over there. I mean, it's huge. It's kind of like, well, what do you actually take with you? And it's quite surprising what actually ends up being important to you. Something like this. This is a little bag, and I always use these transparent bags so I can see immediately what's inside it. This is just a bunch of plugs and cables for iPhone, Apple devices. And this is excruciatingly important to me. So these are the things that are important to you. This has turned out to be very, very important to me. This is the Apple Pencil. I've almost exclusively been making notes on the iPad Pro, which is just over somewhere. But I had the large iPad Pro and I got rid of it. Well, first of all, I lost it. I put it, while on this shoot, I put it on the roof of the car while I was putting my bag into the back, and then I drove off forgetting it was on the roof, and I was doing 70 down the motorway before I realised, oh, my iPad's on the roof. And then I stopped the car and it wasn't there anymore. Where did it go? So I thought this was a sign for me to get a new one. It was just definite sign to get a new one. It's like, you don't own it anymore, so that's a sign to get a new one. So I got a new one, and I had the large size again, and I was kind of writing with it, and I was finding it such a pain because it's quite big and heavy that I took it back a couple of weeks later, and only last weekend I got the smaller iPad Pro, which you can still use the pencil with it, and I like it. I really like it. So I've been using that as kind of like a thorough notepad. And that is working out for me. I don't really use paper, but having said that, I have just made some notes on a piece of paper over here. I don't have to show you a piece of paper. My life, this is what my life is. Every day I empty out my pockets, and this is what I carry with me. So this is my life. So I've just got a couple of bank cards, and I've got my traveling in London when I'm here cards, parking of the car cards, receipts, and just a bunch of cash. That's one of the people I'm going to be filming. And I've just got cash. And this is like per diems. This is what the production company gives you to feed yourself. So I have just cash. I haven't really had to use my bank account at all. I've got no expenses. I mean, it's awesome, but it is just awesome. It is kind of great, and I've done it in a calculated way because I know I've got places to go. I have put my name to an apartment in Chiswick. Gosha's now living in Chiswick, which is a real fancy area, and I'm sure I will do a video from there at one stage. But as far as London's concerned, I'm pretty done. I'm pretty done. I don't really feel I need to be here. What I want to do in the future now is I want to turn some attention to doing some writing. I don't want to say too much, because so often when you say, oh yeah, I'm going to go write a book, and then you never get around to it. But I want to try and turn my attention to doing some writing. I still want to do television, but I'm not sure what yet, or rather I'm not sure what opportunities are going to be there for me. I don't want to do formatted television, that is for sure. It's just not me at all. It sucks the very soul out of you, and people who make these programs, none of them like making them, and it's just and they think it's terrible television as well. That's what's been the biggest sort of bugbear for me. I've been working with people who think the program that they're making is for a bunch of people who are sitting at home having beans on toast and don't care, and the television isn't important. And they're right. It's very, it's true. We are making programs that are just nothing. They contribute nothing to the world. It is real sort of jaw on the table, sort of staring at the fire type television. It contributes absolutely nothing. And we're just regurgitating the format over and over and over again. And that's not what I want to do in my life. I want to be doing something where I'm contributing something to the world. So I handed in my notice, and I am now going to be free as a bird, and I'm looking for some other work. I'm quite fancying getting a bit more into corporate and managing shoots. I quite like doing that. I don't want to work for a production company and, and struggling to say, oh, can I get a taxi from base to home or something like that, which is such a massive deal for a production company to give you, to get you a taxi to go somewhere. Just something simple like that. They do not want to they don't want to give you the 30% markup that they've put on top of whatever the channel's given them. They don't want to touch that money. That's theirs, so they can buy their Range Rovers and their Land Rovers. And so all the people who are making the show are literally scrambling around trying to make ends meet. Although I did get a pay increase because I grumbled about it. So I've actually been doing quite well on the show. But it's not about money. I think when you start doing a job that's just about earning the money, it's kind of sad, isn't it? Isn't it kind of sad that your whole motivation to dedicating your time to something is just financial reward? I always think there's something sad about that. I think you should do something that enriches you if you can. Anyway, get a bit whoop there. That's going to be the end of this. I'm not going to edit this. I'm just going to let it go out as it is. I hope everybody watching sticks around. If tune up, get ready, because I'm back. I'm going to be doing stuff. What I'm going to be doing, I don't know yet, but it won't involve wearing sunglasses all the time. I do have to do this. Oops. I do have to do this so I can see what I'm doing as I stop the recording. But thank you for watching. Remember, I'm on Twitter